Attention, fans of Unfinished Business Television, we're thrilled to announce our proud partnership with Super 7, the ultimate destination for collectors and pop culture enthusiasts alike. Visit super74.com/AJEPYX today. Use promo code AJEPYX, and let's keep the good times rolling here at Unfinished Business Television.
Hey, folks, how are you? Welcome to a new bunch of episodes from Unfinished Business Television. I'm your host, Jeff Galashaw, at Unfinished B1 on social media. And with me always is the colorful co-host, Andre Joseph of AJ Epics Productions.
Wiggity, 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 whack.
Yep, that's how the heat is going out here, in New York City. Hopefully it's cooler or at least moderate wherever you are. But as you know, this is going to be our movie review episode. We always review movies or movie commentary. Our cinematic evaluations will be 6 movies, and we'll take it from there and see where these conversations and reviews lead us. First up, we are going to be talking about the Nicole Kidman Oscar bait movie that didn't quite work in her favor, Babygirl. This film stars Nicole Kidman, Harris Dickinson, Antonio Banderas, Sophie Wilde. It's basically kind of, I'm trying to think of the right way, 50 Shades of Grey for an older woman version, and without so many extremes. It's about an older woman, business executive, who ends up mentoring a young man and ends up strangely not only having an affair, but ending up in a kind of S&M light relationship with her, even though she has a husband and many kids. And also, I guess it changes her life, and we learn a little bit more about her past. It lets her be free from her repression to a certain point. I I liked the film. I really didn't get into it, but I applaud the film for kind of bringing sex back to the big screen and kind of not making it so exploitive, and I guess kind of, making it kind of hot, even though most of this film is cold, and Nicole Kidman kind of having a Michael Douglas moment with having all these like young men as her love interest in these films. Um, this film, I know there's a scene where they show Botox, and it's just like it's kind of ironic when it comes to Nicole Kidman and what seems to have happened when it comes to her face. And but that has nothing to do with the movie. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I had problems because my thing I was wondering with the Harris Dickinson character was this his plan all along? Because it was too set up to seem random, in the film. Like all his seductions, his I guess him cornering her and all that. That seemed more, I guess, set up rather than, oh, he just happened to luck into this. And even with the him calming the dog, the mad dog on the street, when we first see him. But I'm just like, I give this film a recommendation, but I'll admit I had my problems with it. Andre, what did you think of Babygirl? And
I had so many problems with this film because I feel like with the way Nicole Kidman's career has been going as of late, it could be almost interchangeable with any other movie she does where her love interest is a younger actor. And it doesn't matter if it's a comedy or if it's a drama like this or that other Amazon movie that she did. It always seems to be the same thing, except here it's much more harsher, I think, especially that bit with the milk. I mean, I was texting you about it. I was like, "Oh boy, we're going down that road," and that scene in the hotel room where I think he starts making her kinda act very animalish. I just didn't have a comfortable feeling watching this film, and I know Nicole Kidman's a great actress. There's no denying that fact, but it just seems like these are the scripts they're presenting to her, and she's not passing them up. So, I have no recommendation for this. I
Wow.
really just couldn't get into it like that.
I was shocked that Antonio Banderas kind of playing, the simple husband after, years of him being the heartthrob and the guy who stole, the wives and girlfriends. And here he is as like kind of an emasculated male. I was glad at least they gave him a scene where he gets to be angry and sort of tries to fight the guy. But I also felt it was a cop out because he still can't even win that fight, and it was like, I don't know. I think Antonio Banderas can kick ass if he had to. Um, and I wanted to know more about the supporting character played by Sophie Wilde, who was kind of her assistant, and also seemed to be seeing this guy and seeing how their relationship kind of was compared to this weird, S&M relationship. I guess I liked it a little bit more than you did. Did by any chance did Nicole Kidman get Oscar nominated for this?
I don't recall. I know she got some accolades, but I don't think there was an Oscar nod.
Okay. I think I would have, just for the embarrassing scene she had to go through.
Hmm.
So that's one recommendation, one not for Babygirl. So next we're gonna take another career performance and take a look at The Last Showgirl, directed by Gia Coppola and starring Pamela Anderson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Brenda Song, Kieran Shipka, Dave Bautista, it's Billy Lord, and a small role played by Jason Schwartzman. Andre, tell us what The Last Showgirl is about and what did you think of it?
Well, it's essentially Pamela Anderson playing this showgirl who's been doing it for a couple of decades. She's been doing the same cabaret show time and again, and now this cabaret show is about to close. Dave Bautista is one of the guys that works backstage doing like the lighting and managing of the show. And he accepted a deal to work on the new show that's taking its place. So that creates a little bit of tension between them, as well as a particular relationship that they had in the past, which I'm not going to spoil because I think it's worthwhile to watch. It's a nice little reveal. And in the process of doing so, she's still trying to be relevant because at one point, I believe she tries to audition for this new show, but the ageism, you're too old, we don't want you on this thing. So she's dealing with that as well as the relationship with her strange daughter that comes back into the picture and she's trying to be a present mother in her life. This movie really, really surprised me. And, I grew up a Pamela Anderson fan watching Baywatch and her occasional appearances in wrestling and pop culture back in like 95, 96. So, you know, I didn't really know what to expect, but I figured over the years she's very matured compared to back in those days. And the fact that Gia Coppola was able to give a really like real performance out of her was really a sight to behold, and you feel even that moment when she auditions for the new show and then the guys, I think Jason Schwartzman plays the guy managing it and he starts berating her, you really feel that pain. And she delivers on that in a very raw and emotional manner. But as much as I'm surprised by her, and obviously, Jamie Lee Curtis is there as a close friend. She gets her little moment with Total Eclipse of the Heart, which was kind of interesting. And admittedly, she could still get it. I'm just saying, she might be a little bit, past her prime, but she still looks like for her age, she's in pretty good shape. But I was really surprised by Batista in this, and we know he's been working with some really good directors. Still getting used to him dropping the muscles and getting all skinny and trying to dress even more like a hipster. But even he playing a very low key performance and believable as somebody that had kind of a fling with Pamela back in the day, I thought he was very good. And I could see him, weirdly enough, one day getting an Oscar in the route that he's going. more so than The Rock. I mean, he's taking more chances than The Rock. So this one, I give a high recommendation to. I think this movie is very much overlooked and needs to be seen more.
I don't majorly disagree with you, but I disagree with you. I'll give it a recommendation, but a low recommendation. Dave Bautista, I mean, is impressive, but he's still like still super huge than anybody in the film.
Oh,
It's not like, oh, he looks so small now. I did not know Jamie Lee Curtis was in this movie prior to watching the film, and I'm just sitting here looking at her, thinking, did she watch? Her and the filmmakers just watch? There's something about Marion, like, I'm going to be Lin Shaye from that movie, because they have that same similar look, the over tan, all the makeup, the sad dance. I want to like Jamie Lee Curtis, but I've noticed, I don't know if this has always been the case, but especially recently, after she's won the Oscar, it always feels like she's overacting. And in this film in particular, it feels I can really like it's getting annoying, the overacting. This film, I will say it's interesting because again, it kind of mirrors a little Pamela Anderson's career. I don't think she impressed me that much of as an actress in the film, but I think what impressed me was the fact that, like her character, she survived over the years and that she's still here and still trying to do what she loves, where her passion is. So I admire her and the film for that. But it feels like one of those films, sort of like Crazy Heart with Jeff Bridges, or like one of these films where the supporting characters are just there, with their own little side story, but they're here to kind of push up the main star, Pamela Anderson. And while I like the fact that, her character is this kind of really a pushover to the point of annoyance where she tries to mother everybody, and, her daughter hates her because she feels like she chose her career over her when obviously she didn't know really how to be a mother and was doing the best that she could. But now she's nursing all these kind of younger dancers, and how one even turned sharply on her when the one time she wasn't there for her, when she's trying to live her life. And, I like all the actors involved. I even like Jason Schwartzman's bit, of course, playing a role in his cousin's movie. But I just, for all the accolades and things that and praise this film had reaped on it, I just felt like it was just okay. It was like it's good enough. There's layers there, but I wasn't exactly impressed by the film as much as I feel like I should have been. So that is why I give it kind of a mild recommendation, but I would say you don't have to rush out and go see it. The one scene that truly impressed me was the scene where her and Dave Bautista go out to dinner, and she, I guess, finally kind of stands up for herself. So that would be the scene I felt like where really the acting is coming into play. Um, are you hearing construction?
no.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, so next film on our list is Love Hurts, directed by Jonathan Busibio, and it is his directorial debut. This film stars Ki Hoi Kwan, Ariana DeBose, Mustafa Shakar, Leo Tipton, Daniel Wu, Cam Giganet, and Marshawn Beast Mode Lynch. He has that special credit just for this movie. This film involves Key's character, who basically years ago used to be part of this assassin syndicate, but fell in love with a girl and basically hid her, even though he was supposed to kill her, and she was meant to go start a new life, and he ended up starting his new life as a real estate agent. And of course, she decides she wants to come back and claim what's hers. So he's on the run with her, trying to protect her and trying to fend off all these assassins. Um, this movie, nah, I wanted to like, but this felt like a Netflix movie that made it into a theater. It was like it's got great action sequences, but that's it. It kind of feels like that movie, The Big Hit with Mark Wahlberg. Like it's fun, it's colorful, but essentially there's nothing to it. It's empty. It's kind of silly. The only thing that really, I would say, makes the film worth kind of watching is a mini Goonies reunion with Sean Astin, who has a small role in this movie. Um, I guess I'm happy to see Cam Giganette is still working. you know, um, Marshawn Lynch even is wasted. He doesn't really get much to do to be funny or anything. And Ariana DeBose, seriously, you gotta talk to your agent because you are too good an actress to be stuck in these like mid basic to bad films. She's not bad in it. She looks great, but there has to be better roles for her out there. I mean, this film stars two Academy Award winners, Best Supporting Actor and Actress, and this is what we get, so I don't think it's horrible, but it just feels like a waste of time, So I guess I'm not gonna say I wouldn't recommend it, but I very low recommend it. No, actually, no, I don't recommend it. You can find so much better. Andre, what did you think of the movie?
I paid to see it in the theaters for one reason, and one reason only is because I support Ke Huy Quan. I just am a fan, and I spoke about him many times on this show, how happy I was when he won the Oscar. There's positives, and yeah, there's a lot of negatives with this picture. He handles action very well. The action is
Yes.
good. I like the big fight with, I guess, supposed to be sort of his brother at the end.
Oh yeah.
However, yeah, I mean, I thought that stuff was pretty good. But I will say, and even the Goonies thing was touching too. The little reunion, Sean Astin's big speech before he dies. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I give it, see, on the action front, I give it a mild recommendation. I don't think it's terrible. The problem is, I feel like I've seen this movie 8 million times by now. The mild-mannered guy that suddenly is being hunted and reverts back to a past that he barely remembers or is trying to put behind him, and then this stuff starts to come back. It wasn't trying anything new. I felt he and Ariana DeBose had no chemistry. I just did not believe that these two were like madly in love with each other, and suddenly these feelings start to spring back between them. The deal with the black assassin who ends up falling for Ke Huy Quan's secretary, that was dumb. It was just kind of pointless, just take the guy out. That's it. There's nothing else here to do. And then they have like a respect level. I would have much rather Marshawn Lynch turned good and help out Key at the end. That was, yeah, I agree. A little bit of a disappointment that after a while there was nothing to do except to make him look stupid. And other than that, yeah, just simply it's passable entertainment for the most part. Like I could probably put this on in the background on a Saturday when I'm just working. But otherwise, what else is there to really make this unique? And both he and DeBose are definitely capable of better scripts than this. This just needed a lot more polishing than what they were able to deliver here.
Yeah, this would have been something like when we in the 90s had those action stars who would be on an HBO movie Friday night, like Thomas Ian Griffith. This would have been more suited for them. Or Thomas Jane when he was making straight to DVD movies. This didn't deserve the talent that was involved. It's bad when Drew Scott from a realtor show steals the scenes and steals the movie, really. And what was the deal with his brother and Boba Tate? Was that supposed to be have a payoff eventually?
None. No payoff with the bubble tea.
So why was it even there? It was like it's that type of movie where it's like you introduce certain things with no payoff. Like Marshawn Lynch's partner with his wife and their marital problems.
Yeah,
It's
the
like,
house nowhere. They just die.
exactly. It's like you basically stole Pineapple Express's side story. Pretty much. And so it's just like that shows you how unoriginal. This was an etch a sketch. Everything was put together by different parts of better movies. And ultimately, like you said, the action sequences are fine, but like the story, the script needed a hell of a lot of work. And so that's why I just can't recommend it. Well, sticking with this made for cable, we go to Fear Street Prom Queen, the next film in the Fear Street, I guess, franchise. Do these films take place in the same town?
I think so, or something similar.
Okay, because I don't know if they're supposed to be able to intersect. Because this film, okay, basically Prom Queen, it's a slasher film where a bunch of girls are nominated for Prom Queen, and slowly they're being killed, and anybody who gets in their way. There's gonna be spoilers in this, so I'm just letting everybody know. Andre, I'll let you go first. What did you think of a Prom Queen? And
Just like with Love Hurts, I feel like I've seen the scenario 8 million times already. 1980s setting, kids that are horny, girl that has a troubled history, in this case with her parents. Nothing really all that original. And then when it gets to the twist, it's so, I mean, you kind of see where it could go, but it's the same deal as Scream and recently with Hard Eyes. There's nothing really all that original about it. And yeah, I can't recommend this one. I will say that the one scene with the girl getting electrocuted was pretty good, as well as the girl who was the weed dealer that gets killed. Other than that, yeah, nothing really all that exciting.
I have a lot to say. First of all, I don't recommend this movie. um, as a horror fan, I think this would be fine for somebody who's never seen a horror film. Like as an introductory horror film. So then maybe they're like, oh, wow, that happened. But I mean, just from casting alone, you kind of know why is this person of this caliber in this movie? So that tells you all you really need to know, even if it is Chris Klein. Um, I enjoy seeing Lily Taylor in something. It's been a while. One of my main problems with this film, most of the girls are interchangeable. They're like, I couldn't really say, oh, that's this one. Oh, that's that one. Unless another character reminded me, oh, this one's supposed to be the cute best friend bitchy one. Oh, this one's supposed to be the snobby one. And again, I mean, we had this conversation off camera. Why do all the, like, with the I Know What You Did Last Summer trailer, why do all these girls date ugly boys in these films who are all assholes? Like, none of them are decent or innocent. It's always just, they're all assholes. I think that's the only thing I liked about this film was that what looked to be the major love interest for the lead gets killed. I was like, yay! Because he wasn't that appealing. It's, um, you know, um, I kind of felt sorry for the evil girl's best friend because she actually seemed to finally gain a backbone before being killed. And if I had to say, out of all these girls, she was the prettiest. So, Susanna Son, who was in Red Rocket, plays, the main character's best friend. Um, this movie, it piles on the gore, but it's like you don't care. I don't know that person, so why should I care if they die? Again, just like with I Know What You Did Last Summer, the reboot. Just because you have one person of color in your film does not mean this film is diverse. This is all nothing but white people, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but there's like there's no flavor in this movie. This is like grilled chicken with no spice. I mean, great if you're on a diet, but taste wise, this is horrible. And the directing was bad. Like this felt like literally a TV. This could have been on Lifetime if not for the gore. In fact, the only thing I liked was the third act when the daughter and mother finally fucking team up to like try and kill this girl and the daughter's death. It was like, wow, this film went there. Awesome. But other than that, there was nothing of note. And the weed dealing girl, Ariana Greenblatt, who has a career, unfortunately, usually in Eli Roth films, but still, she's the biggest T name in here. and she's here for a cameo. It's like, Netflix, you had a star on your hands. That would be like Jenna Ortega before she got the fame, and I'm just like, hey, let's put her in that big role. So yeah, way thumbs down. I'm sorry. I like the Fear Street. I'm gonna keep watching the franchise, but this was a piece of shit. Maybe the mistake was the first trilogy was more supernatural, and this was a traditional slasher. But also, the original trilogy of films was a female director with a female character. Here you have a male director directing a female character, and it's like he didn't know what to do. It's like the director didn't know girls or women. It's like, oh, I guess they're like this. They do this, right? So it was just like, I would have rather the person who made Heart Eyes made this film, and I think it would have been more interesting. So yeah, way thumbs down. I'm sorry for the cast. You deserved better, and maybe a film that can make me be able to individualize you, so I know who's who. Because that was the only time any character in the film became interesting was the girl who got a backbone, and the villainous of bitch character at the end finally gets interesting. Other than that, this is like eating white bread toast that's lightly toasted. It only you can hear some crisp, but it's not really toast, and it could be moldy old bread. You don't know. So okay, that is Prom Queen. Yeah, I really didn't like that movie. So, next we are going to take a look at the latest and possibly last in the Mission Impossible franchise. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, directed by Christopher McGuire. You know who stars in this. Come on, guys. It's not. It doesn't have my dream scenario of Emilio Estevez coming back from the dead as the villain, who has been blinded from his elevator experience, but now can see thanks to the AI technology, and now is out to show the world the truth, which would have been a better ending than boring old Esai Morales trying to get back in control of this thing. The film has an unexpected death that comes out of nowhere, and not the character I thought it was going to be, who I had prophesized. The film is a good action film. I mean, you guys are used to the Tom Cruise stunt spectacular, so he has to do it all. And I'll admit, on that factor, everything is great, even though some scenes are a little ridiculous, like when the guy attacks him on the submarine while he's doing the Treadmaster, and it's just like, really? So yeah, Tom Cruise has his shirt off in an inordinate amount of times in this film, trying to show, yeah, I still got the guns. This felt like Will Smith in Wild Wild West. Even when one of the characters who hasn't seen him in a while says, "Oh, I like your hair like that," I was like, really? We needed that line in the script? Tom Cruise at 60 still doing it. Thomas Tillman from Severance playing the boat captain, submarine captain. I think Weidman or Weldman from, what was that? Ted Lasso playing, I guess, some sort of army sergeant who has a past with Angela Bassett. I'm just guessing Tom Cruise during the pandemic watched a lot of Apple Plus TV, because a lot of these actors just keep popping up. Katie O'Brien from that movie with Kristen Stewart where they play
Lost Bleeding.
Yeah, she has a small role. Yeah, I mean, it's satisfying. It's worth going to see in the movies. I think that's the best way to see it. It's a stunt spectacular. It's an action movie. You get your money's worth out of that. Story wise, eh. And finally, they bring back the guy from Mission Impossible, the first film, to actually do something and redeem himself. But I mean, half the movie is conversations between Angela Bassett and like her staff, basically trying to decide whether they're going to launch nuclear codes. And I mean, I figured if you got Angela Bassett here, you might as well give her a drama scene. Even though I would have liked it if she had to do some action. She still got them guns. But, you have Nick Offerman's character who asks for a gun, and that was kind of misleading. And they thought they were brilliant with what happened. But I was just like, You just basically played the audience with your disrespect. And I just kept thinking, like, if God forbid, if anything happened like this in real life and we have our current administration making these decisions, I'm like, we're doomed. But I give it a recommendation. It's one of the better Mission Impossible films. It's not the best, but it's one of the better ones. Andre, what did you think of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning?
I love my popcorn, movies and popcorn. Yeah, I think we saw this at Nighthawk together, and I knew this was going to be a big epic event just because of the fact that all the reviews kept talking about how it calls back to past movies, particularly Mission Impossible 1 and Mission Impossible 3. I think that for the most part, when it comes to the callbacks, there were some smart ones. Again, bringing back the guy from the Langley Vault, who I thought was just going to be like a one scene thing, and that would be that. It turned out like, no, he had a presence, and holy shit, he actually was good at it. I thought like they really pumped him up to be important in this film. And then there were other times I thought it was kind of stupid, hence a particular character's connection to a deceased character from the first movie, and how you
Yeah, I bring it.
and I thought that was so dumb, along with Hannah, how do you say her last name? Weedham, how do you say it? When he goes on the boat to give her a note with the date of the release of the film, and all I kept thinking was, is she related to Emilio Estevez in some fashion? Because she talks about, oh, I lost a loved one on that day. I'm thinking maybe it was the day he had his mission and his whole team got killed. We never find out what the deal is. It's just a stupid Easter egg, just as like wink, wink to the fans. Outside of that, which tried to go in the route of the Bond film Spectre and No Time to Die, I agree. It's definitely one of the better Mission Impossible movies in some time. It's not my favorite. I think I'd have to kind of go between 3 and 4 as my two favorites. Even Fallout was very good too. Um, yeah, the stunts are spectacular. You cannot deny the fact that Tom Cruise does not phone it in. He puts his all into filmmaking and acting, whether it's a blockbuster or a smaller picture like Magnolia. He just gives 100%. So you have to give your respect for that. Even if he's personally weird, the guy actually does deliver as a movie star. And I also think that, yeah, a little bit, a lot of vanity shots in this with him having to be, in his undies fighting the guy on the boat. Then when it looks like he's going to drown, Haley Atwell saves him and has to like give mouth to mouth. It's like, dude, come on. Even the crowd was kind of groaning when they saw that. And this is not Tom Cruise in The Firm. This is Tom Cruise now when he's like, the audience isn't as into him when he's not doing Mission Impossible movies. But listen, overall, um, if this is the last one for him, I'm fine with it. I think they can restart with the new cast, maybe do it as a TV show again. I mean, to continue on with him, the guy even said like he's willing to do this until he's 80. No. At a certain point, your body tells you you cannot do these stunts anymore. And I don't know how you top that whole scene with him on the plane and fighting Isai, who clearly is not doing his own stunts there. But otherwise, yeah, it's a fun ride. Definitely a theatrical experience. And yeah, just a nice cap or two, at least a Tom Cruise run. And whoever takes over is going to have a hard time filling his shoes.
Well, there's one sequence that I guess is supposed to leave us amazed. These when he's when he's at the shipwreck, that was a very confusing thing because even watching it, I was like, did he get what he was looking for? Because after a while, it was like more like I've got to escape all these missiles that keep, filing up around me. So that, what was supposed to be, I guess, a memorable scene, left me confused, and also the demise of the villain. Instead of dramatics, it felt more comedic. Like, haha, and then oops. I'm like,
Yeah, it was a Looney Tunes cartoon. Oh, what about the part? Sorry to interrupt, but the part when he's captured, both him and Haley Atwell, they're going to torture her, And then the camera just turns away as he's like killing these henchmen. And then he's looking back. It's like, oh, but I had to do this. They were going to pull your teeth out or whatever the hell they were going to do. It was strange to
But
me.
yeah, it's strange choices, and I'm just like, I think maybe Esai might have sat in Tom's seat or drank from his cappuccino machine, because I'm like, what? That's how you end the villain? This guy who's supposedly haunting you all these years?
Oh, and
Like,
that's another thing too. They never explained the whole backstory between them. You had those flashbacks in Dead Reckoning with this girl that Esai killed. That was the reason Tom Cruise joined the IMF, but they never really got more into that. Like, who was that girl? What was their connection? What did he do before he was in the IMF? They don't explain anything.
well, man, they didn't think that far. They were just trying to like, this is gonna be the best one. We've got to outdo all of them. And like I said, it's okay, but like I said, it leaves you with a lot of questions by the end.
And there was a henchman towards the end that pops up with a detonator who I thought was going to be Emilio Estevez blindfolded.
If only I'm still pulling for you, Emilio. This shit, dude, you should have did this one instead of Young Guns 3.
Like, you're still making those?
Yeah, well, we'll see after St. Elmo's Fire too. And for our final review of this episode, we're going to talk about Predator, Killer of Killers. I believe it's on Hulu. It's an animated or anime sequel in the Predator franchise that does connect to Prey, the Predator film. And this film, basically, each act has a predator hunting basically hunting a different time period. Like in the beginning, there's a predator hunting Vikings. In the next chapter, it's a predator in feudal Japan during samurai times. Then in the third tale, I believe it's World War I, in which a predator is hunting. And then fourth, survivors from the first three tales are taken to the alien planet and forced to fight one another so that they get the honor to fight the big alien. And I'm just like, how is that? I would think I'd be fighting for my survival to be set back. Not, oh, great, after I just, basically, it's like Diggs Out. So I gotta fight all these guys. Then you want me to fight one guy who's been resting this whole time while I've been busting my ass. And so I was like, yeah, that didn't make any sense. But what was interesting is that each tale starts off with its own story before the predator is introduced. So I thought that was inventive. Though I did feel like the film kind of burnt off with each act, each kind of sequel they could have made. Like, oh, since we did Native American, the next film could have been set during the Viking period. Then the next one could have been, and so on. And then finally, maybe at the end of the franchise, that's when you have them escape from, like an Escape from New York film, Escape from Alien Planet. I actually surprising. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it that much because again, I'm thinking wasted franchise potential here, but I really enjoyed the film. I didn't love it, but I thought it was a fine sequel for the Predator franchise. And I think the fact that probably to make this film in live action, fuck all the budgets you see right now. You'd need a lot of movies, and you still wouldn't even be able to get realistic shots that animation they could do. So in that aspect, I respect them for that, and I like the fact that there was drama in between all the characters before the Predator is even introduced for them to go against. So I would say this might be next to Mission Impossible, the film I highest recommend on this episode. I really enjoyed it. And I think if you're a fan of the franchise, or if you're just a fan of anime or animation, you should definitely check out this film. What did you think of Predator, Killer of Killers?
I thought it was better than I expected. I really enjoyed the animation overall because it didn't feel choppy. It felt very much a cross between anime and something more like a throwback to the kind of cartoons I used to watch as a kid, like G.I. Joe, Transformers, sort of like that, designed by the Japanese, but yet still has like an American feel to it. So I really enjoyed that part of it. I think I'm not going to say like I loved every single story that was presented. The Viking story was very good and very brutal. The Japanese story I thought was okay. Visually, it was stunning, but I feel like, the thing with the two brothers wasn't the most original idea. The one with World War II with the Spanish kid fighting in the Air Force, that I kind of liked. That was clever and didn't go the way that I expected it would go. And it had Michael Biehn playing the voice of his captain, I believe.
Yeah.
But now he gets to be part of Terminator, Aliens, and Predator, so it kind of completes the whole circle for Michael Biehn. Once they get to the planet, though, it does get stupid. The whole language barrier between the three. But it was okay. I mean, it was clearly that's where it was going. But the thing I did leave from it, because I'm not going to spoil the mid-credit scene, I think they have a pathway to bring back Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny Glover in animated form. So I think that's where this is going to all build to, based on what they do on the Predator planet. So yeah, I give this one just a recommendation. I mean, it would have been interesting to see it in live action, but I think if you wanted, as Dan Trachtenberg did here, to do new stories but in different time periods, this was probably the easiest way to go about it.
Well, it already looks better than the Predator live action film they have coming out later this year.
Where he's the hero.
Anyway, like I can't really talk about it because I haven't seen it, so maybe it'll surprise us like this film. But I'm like, yeah. So far, I'm like going with this and Prey as some of the better examples of sequels, and not so much that Adrian Brody, Thomas, his name, Topher Grace one.
Predators.
Yeah, that one. It served okay as like an action sci-fi sequel, but it didn't break any new ground. And so that ends our business for this episode. But as you know, we always have unfinished business to attend to. And I must ask you, have you seen Paid in Full? If not, why not? Because it's fucking awesome. Andre, what film would you recommend for the folks out there?
Have you seen the documentary Sly Lives? If not, why not? Because it's fucking awesome.
It is the good, and rest in peace to Mr. Sly Stone, and condolences to his family. And that ends our business for this week, so we bid you adieu.
If you like this review, please be sure to like and hit subscribe to be alerted to new episodes in the future.